She stands on a stranger's porch with a wedding letter in her hand. The man who opens the door tells her he never wrote it. The brother who did is dead. If she turns back now, she has nowhere to go. If she stays, she must live inside a lie that was never meant to hold love. She arrived on Tuesday's train with everything she owned in one trunk and a wedding letter that promised respect. The man who opened the door had never seen her before, had never written her name, had never promised anything. Her name is Clea, a woman who has crossed 3 weeks of country for a marriage that does not exist, and whose future now depends on a man who did not choose her. Desmond Farrow does not want a wife. He wants his brother's name cleared from his doorway, and this humiliation gone. Clea does not want pity. She needs a place to sleep and work that keeps her from being sent back to nothing. So they agree on silence, a room instead of a ring, wages instead of promises. What they do not say protects them both. But the truth presses closer each evening, because if Clea leaves, she loses her last chance at belonging. And if she stays long enough to be seen, Desmond may lose a life he believed was already settled. Clea steps onto the porch and lifts her hand to knock. The wood is cold under her fingers. Wind moves the dust at her boots. She waits, breathing slow, letter folded tight inside her coat. Footsteps sound inside. The door opens. A man stands there, taller than she expected, sleeves rolled, eyes wary. "I'm here for Desmond Farrow," she says. He looks past her, then back again. No welcome follows. "I am Desmond Farrow." The moment holds. Lamplight spills from behind him onto the porch boards. She brings out the letter. His name is written clean across the front. "I'm your wife," she says. The words leave her carefully, as if they might still be taken back. Desmond does not reach for the paper. His jaw tightens. "I never wrote that," he says. The wind lifts her skirt hem. She keeps her feet planted. He reads the letter anyway. Once, then again. His hand shakes when he lowers it. "That handwriting," he says, then stops. He turns away from the door, steps inside, leaves it open behind him. Clea does not follow. Not yet. "My brother wrote this," Desmond says, voice rough. "He's dead." The word lands between them. Heavy, unmovable. Clea stays on the porch. The road behind her stretches empty. "I didn't know," she says. "I know," he answers. But his tone carries no kindness. Silence settles, long enough to feel chosen. Finally, Desmond faces her again. "You can't stay as a wife," he says. Then, after a breath, "But I won't turn you out tonight. The offer is not gentle. It is not cruel. It is the only thing left." Clea steps inside. The door closes behind her. Desmond sets a chair back under the table, which scrapes the floor. Lamplight wavers as he moves. Clea stands near the door, coat still on. "You can sleep in the spare room," he says. "Help around the house. I'll pay you wages." He does not look at her when he says it. Clea loosens her grip on the coat buttons. One by one, her breath steadies. "I can cook," she says, "and mend." Desmond nods once, as if confirming something already decided. "No town talk," he adds. "No questions. The rules arrive plain. Not harsh. Not warm." Clea steps farther into the room. Her boots leave dust on the floorboards. She notices it and stills. "I won't trouble you," she says. Desmond's mouth tightens at that. Trouble has already arrived. They both know it. He reaches into a drawer, counts coins onto the table, slides them toward her. Payment before trust. Clea does not touch them yet. "If I leave," she asks, "how far is the road back?" Desmond looks toward the window. Dark presses against the glass. 3 days, he says. Maybe more. Silence stretches between them. Not empty. Wade. Clea takes the coins. The metal is cold in her palm. "I'll stay," she says. Desmond exhales through his nose. Relief flickers, unwanted. You eat with me, he says. It's simpler. The word hangs there, a thin shield. They sit at opposite sides of the table, space where vows should have been. Clea folds her coat across her lap. Desmond keeps his hands flat on the wood. Neither reaches for anything else. Outside, the wind shifts. Staying has solved nothing, but leaving would have ended everything. And neither of them says which cost is worse. Clea rises before the light fully settles. She moves through the kitchen in stocking feet. What creaks once. She pauses, then continues. A kettle goes on. Water breathes toward boil. Desmond enters without greeting. Sleeves rolled again. Eyes already awake. They work around each other. Not together. Not apart. Clea wipes the table. He sets bread near the edge. Neither comments. A tear in his coat sleeve catches her eye. Small. Old. She finishes her work. Takes the coat from the chair. Sets it across her knees. Needle. Thread. Careful stitches. Desmond notices only when she hands it back. You didn't have to, he says. I know, she answers. He turns the sleeve. Runs his thumb over the seam. Says nothing more. Later, she shelves her few books on the floor. One tilts. Another slides. She stares at them a moment. Says nothing. That evening, a plank rests against the wall. Nails line beside it. Desmond works without explanation. Measures once. Twice. Hammer taps echo through the room. Soft. Deliberate. When he finishes, he steps away. It'll hold, he says. Clea touches a shelf. Test the weight. Thank you, she says. He nods, already moving back toward the door. At supper, they sit longer than needed. Plates empty. Hands still. The space between them feels altered, not smaller. More defined. Clea gathers the dishes. Desmond watches her leave the room. Stops himself from speaking. The house settles around them. Wood cooling. Lamplight dimming. Nothing has been promised. Nothing has been asked. But the silence has shifted. And now, keeping will take effort. Clea sets the plates down slower than usual. Steam lifts from the food. Lamplight stays bright. No one rushes to dim it. Desmond sits with his hands apart on the table, waiting, not eating. She takes her chair across from him, not at the end. They begin without blessing or comment. Halfway through, Desmond stops chewing. My brother, he says. The words arrive plain, uninvited. Clea keeps her eyes on her plate. Listens. He liked causing trouble, Desmond continues. Thought it proved something. His fork scrapes once, then stills. Clea breathes in, does not interrupt. He wrote letters, he says, to women, to banks, to anyone who might answer. He looks up then, meets her gaze. I never saw them, he says, not until you stood on that porch. The admission costs him. It shows in his shoulders. Clea sets her fork down. I answered because of one line. She says, Desmond waits. Does not push. It said I was worthy of respect, she continues. No one had written that to me before. The room holds steady, as if testing the truth. Desmond nods once. Slow. I'm sorry, he says. The words are not dramatic. They are not complete, but they land. Clea resumes eating. Her hand trembles once, then steadies. They finish the meal without more explanation. When Desmond rises, he clears both plates, takes them to the sink. Clea watches him do it, does not stop him. Tonight, something has been spoken, not enough to heal, enough to make silence harder tomorrow. And both of them understand that once words begin, they do not return easily. Clea waits at the counter while Flower dusts her hands. The store smells of grain and leather. Footsteps pass behind her. Too close. You Farrow's wife, a woman asks. The question lands quick, careless. Clea does not turn right away. She wipes her hands on her apron. I work for him, she says. The woman hums, unconvinced. Funny, she replies. I saw him build you a shelf. The bell rings as the door opens. Cold air cuts through the room. Desmond steps inside. Hat low, jaw set. The woman smiles at him. Didn't know you married, she says. Desmond stops beside Clea, close enough to feel his breath. I didn't, he answers. The word falls flat. Public. Clea keeps her eyes forward. The counter edge digs into her palms. The woman lifts her brows. Interest sharpens. Well, she says town talks. Desmond pays for flour. Coins clink. Final. Outside, wind pushes hard against them. They walk home without speaking. Boots crunching earth. Distance stretching with every step. At the house, Desmond stops short of the door. They'll keep asking, he says. Clea nods. She already knows. I won't correct them, he adds. Or confirm. The space between those words matters. That leaves me standing alone. Clea says. Desmond looks at her then. Really looks. I know, he says. Neither offers a solution. The house waits behind them. The town behind that. Silence has become visible. And now, it will cost them both something to maintain it. Clea sets the table for two. She places the second chair closer than before. Not touching. Close enough to notice. Desmond watches from the doorway. Hat still on. Decision already weighing. Outside, footsteps approach. Slow. Uninvited. A knock lands heavy on the door. Desmond answers it without looking back. Two men stand on the step. Town faces. Curious. Evening, one says. Just passing. Their eyes move past Desmond. Find Clea at the table. Didn't know you'd settled. The other adds. Desmond shifts, blocks the view. She's eating, he says. With me. The words are plain. They are not a lie. They are not the truth. The men exchange a glance. Good night, then, one says. The door closes. Silence follows. Thick. Change. Desmond removes his hat. Sets it on the peg. They'll assume, he says. Clea stands. Carries the pot to the table. Assuming is safer, she answers. Desmond studies her face. Sees resolve there. Not hope. You don't owe me that, he says. I know, she replies. And I'm still sitting. They eat slower than usual, listening for sounds that do not come. After, Desmond moves a second chair back, just a few inches. The scrape of wood is loud in the quiet room. Clea notices, says nothing. Later, she pauses at her bedroom door. If I leave, she says, they'll follow the story. Desmond stands still. And if you stay, he answers, they'll expect the rest. Neither of them moves. The choice has been made once tonight. It will demand payment again. And next time, silence may not be enough. Clea hangs laundry behind the house. Fabric snaps once in the wind, then settles. She pins a sleeve, straightens the line. Footsteps sound on the path. Not Desmond's. Morning, a woman says. Clea turns, recognizes her from the store. You keep house well, the woman adds. Eyes moving, measuring. Clea nods, keeps working. I heard he's changed, the woman says. Eats at home now. The clothespin slips, falls to the dirt. Clea bends to retrieve it, stays there a beat too long. That happens, she says. The woman smiles, not unkind. Men don't change without reason. Desmond's voice cuts in from the doorway. That's far enough. The woman lifts her hands. Amused, didn't mean offense. She leaves the way she came. Slow. Desmond stands watching until she's gone. They saw you, he says. Clea lifts the last sheet, pins it high. They've been seeing me, she replies. He steps closer. Low voice. This won't hold. Clea turns then, meets his eyes. It held long enough for you, she says. The words land. Not sharp. True. Desmond looks away first. That evening, he does not sit at the table. Eats standing. Hat still on. Clea watches him from her chair. Says nothing. Distance has entered the room. Not from anger. From recognition. They have been careful. But care has made them visible. And once a thing is noticed, it cannot be made small again. Clea stands at the table with the drawer open. The letter lies inside. Folded. Worn at the edges. She takes it out. Holds it flat. Footsteps cross the room behind her. Desmond stops short when he sees it. "You kept it," he says. Clea does not look up. "It's all I had," she answers. The lamplight catches the ink. His brother's hand. Careless curves. Desmond reaches for it. Stops himself. "You should have told me," he says. Clea folds the letter once more. Slow. "I tried," she replies. "Every day I stayed." The space between them tightens. "That letter ruined my name." Desmond says, "In this town." Clea meets his eyes. "It gave me one," she answers. Silence hits hard. Unforgiving. Outside, wind presses against the walls. Insistent. Desmond turns away. Walks to the door. Stops with his hand on the latch. "If they see this," he says, "they'll decide for us." Clea slips the letter into her apron pocket. "They already are," she says. Desmond opens the door. Cold air floods the room. "For your sake," he says, "this ends soon." Clea nods. Does not argue. When he leaves, she sits alone at the table. The drawer remains open. Empty. She could burn the letter. And the story clean. She does not. Some truths cost too much to destroy. And keeping them may cost even more. Clea waits with the lamp lit. The wick burns low. Oil thins. She does not refill it. Footsteps pass the house. Then another set. None stop. She sits at the table. Hands folded. Listening. The door stays closed. Outside, wind drags along the walls. Persistent. Unanswered. She rises. Moves the lamp closer to the window. Down the road, a light bobs once. Then disappears. Clea blows out the lamp. Dark settles fast. She does not sleep. At dawn, she hears the horse first. Slow steps. Careful. The door opens. Desmond enters without his coat. Dust clings to his boots. His jaw is set. "Where were you?" she asks. He does not answer right away. "I spoke to the pastor," he says. Clea stands. "You had no right," she says. Desmond finally looks at her. "They're ready," he replies. A quick ceremony. Quiet. The words fall heavy. Arranged. Final. "You decided alone," Clea says. "I decided for us," he answers. Silence sharpens. "I won't be pitted into a promise," she says. Desmond steps closer. Stops himself. "And I won't let you be ruined here," he says. The space between them hardens. Love has entered the room. Uninvited. Unusable. Because now, whatever happens next, will be a choice neither of them can undo. Clea opens a trunk at the foot of the bed. The hinge creaks once, then settles. She folds her dresses with care. Sleeves tucked. Buttons aligned. Outside, the yard lies quiet. No horse saddled. No sound of work. Desmond stands in the doorway, hat in his hands, waiting. "You don't have to go today," he says. Clea does not turn. "If I stay," she answers, "they'll call it gratitude." She places her books on top of clothes. The shelf now bare. "They'll forgive," Desmond says. "They'll decide," Clea replies. The trunk fills. Space runs out. Desmond steps closer. Stops short of touching. "I offered marriage," he says. "You offered rescue," she answers. The words are calm. They leave no room. He swallows. Looks past her the window. "I thought it would fix this," he says. Clea closes the trunk. Presses down until it catches. "It fixes you," she says. "Not me." Silence stretches thin. Desmond sets the hat back on his head. There's work north, Clea continues. Seasonal. Enough to get through winter. He nods once. Hard. I'll hitch the wagon, he says. She stops him with a look. No, she says. I'll walk to town. The choice lands heavy. Walking means being seen. Leaving alone, Desmond steps aside. The door opens. Cold air enters. This is the cost of refusing safety. It looks like distance. Clea walks into town with the trunk rope biting her palm. Dust lifts with each step, then settles behind her. No one offers help. She feels the looks before she hears the voices. Morning, someone says. Not kindly, not cruel. She answers anyway. At the boarding house, the keeper pauses at the sight of her. Full, the woman says. Doesn't check. Clea nods. Turns back toward the street. A wagon pulls up short. Horses snort. Desmond reins them in hard. He jumps down. Stands too close. You shouldn't be here alone, he says. You decided that already, Clea replies. People slow as they pass. Pretend not to watch. Desmond lowers his voice. The pastor spoke out of turn, he says. I corrected him. Clea stills. You told them, she says. I told them the truth, he answers. All of it. Her breath catches once, then steadies. And what did it cost you? She asks. Desmond looks around, meets the eyes he used to avoid. My brother's name, he says. And mine. The street feels smaller now, pressed close by listening walls. The boarding house door opens again. There's a room, the keeper says. Brief. Final. Clea lifts the trunk. Desmond reaches for it. Stops when she looks at him. You don't get to fix this, she says. I know, he replies. She carries the trunk inside. The door closes between them. Outside, Desmond stands alone. Truth has done its work. It has not reunited them. It has only made love more dangerous than before. Clea stands at the boarding house window before dawn. The street lies empty, dust unmoving. No one watching yet. She tightens a rope on her trunk, checks the latch. Once. Footsteps sound outside. She does not turn. Desmond stops behind her, keeps distance. There's work north, she says. You were right. He nods. I can ride with you, he offers. Part way. Clea faces him then. No, she says. If you come, they'll call it rescue again. Desmond accepts it without argument. He sets something on the table. Coins. A folded paper. Wages, he says. Earned. Clea takes the coins. Leaves the paper. I won't marry a promise, she says, or a man who decides alone. Desmond breathes out slowly. I won't ask you to, he replies. Silence stands between them. Clean. Hard. Outside, morning begins to move. Clea lifts the trunk. At the door, she pauses. If you ever write again, she says, use your own name. Desmond meets her eyes. I will, he answers. She steps into the street. Does not look back. Desmond watches until she turns a corner. He does not follow. Love has not been claimed, but it has been named. And that knowledge will cost them both. Long after the road has taken her out of sight. If you love stories like this, you're welcome here. Subscribe if you want more Western romances. And if this story stayed with you, tell me in the comments. I'll see it. I'm your narrator, Sam. Until the next road.